Hi, in this video, we are going to discuss about the architecture of 8085. In previous video, we discuss about the basic definition of the microprocessor 8085. What is the basic difference between the microprocessor and microcontroller? And we discussed some features of 8085. Now moving forward, that is the architecture. This is the general blocks are there in 8085 architecture. Basically, this architecture is categorized into different units. And those units are nothing but the register array, ALU group, instruction decoder and machine cycle encoder, timing and control circuitry, interrupt control unit, and next one is the serial IO control group. So in a register group, we are going to discuss all the registers which are available inside the microprocessor. Those are nothing but the general purpose register. These are the temporary register. This is the another temporary data register. Then another is the instruction register. Then next one is nothing but the your flip flop. This is the one of the register also. And there are the two special purpose register, that is a stack pointer and program counter. They are come under the register array. Okay. Next category, that is a arithmetic. So in that case, we are going to discuss about only ALU and accumulator. In these 2 points we are going to cover in this ALU group. Third group, it is instruction decoder and machine cycle, as well as the timing control unit. In this, there are sub blocks are nothing but this is a very important block. The we are going to discuss what is the basic function of it and timing control unit. Okay, and the last two are nothing but the interrupt control group. These are the interrupt. This is the interrupt control group, and this is the serial control group. Along with this, it has a some buses, and those are nothing but the address bus and data bus, which is a multiplex with the latch. Okay, so these are the some blocks we are going to discuss in the architecture. Before moving forward, I would like to tell you about the architecture. That is a in architecture you can observe that this is the 8-bit data bus. This is your data bus, right? 8-bit data bus. Then you can observe that each and every block is connected to the control timing unit. Each and every block you can observe this is the connector. Actually this is supposed to be connected here also and here also in serial IO control group also. Okay, so first of all here I would like to tell you that is first of all pause the video and try to draw the block diagram, and after that we are going to study the different units one by one. Okay, So pause the video for some time. Now next, that is we are going to discuss the register array group. Okay. So in that first one is the general purpose register. It has a 6 general purpose register of 8 bits. We can use single also. We can use the 16 bit at a time also by making the pair, that is a BC, DE, HL, and they are used to store the intermediate data and a result. So this is a very important, that is last part, that is whenever you have to hold the memory, that is access the memory or show the memory, the HL pair always point as a data pointer for memory address. So HL pair, while writing the program, the HL pair is plays an important role. Next is the instruction register. We discussed these registers, that is a general purpose. Now instruction pointer, this one. So it is not used by the user, it is used by the processor only. When an instruction is fetched from the memory, it is first loaded into the instruction register and then it is transferred to the decoder unit for decoding purpose. This register is not programmable and cannot be accessed through any kind of instruction. This is about the IR. Next is the flag register. It is the 8-bit register, and basically from in the 8-bit there are only 5 flags and they will show the status of the result, and those results are related to what is the sign of the result, either result is 0 or not, either there is a auxiliary carry generated or not, how many number of ones and zeros, ones, either even ones or odd ones are there in the result, or finally if there is a carry generated or not. So such kind of results or status related to the results are available in the flag register. So this is the user accessible. So this table gives the summary of all the registers, flags. Carry flag is set when the result contains the final carry. Parity flag is set when a result contains the even number of ones, otherwise it is a reset. Auxiliary carry is set when there is a carry generated from 4th bit to 5th bit, or we can say that the D3 to D4, because the number is start from D0 to D7, so that's why it is a D3 to D4. Otherwise auxiliary carry flag is reset. If there is a result is 0, then your 0 flag is set. Sign flag is basically represent the result is positive or negative. If result is negative, then sign flag is 1, otherwise it is a 0. So next part is temporary registers. So these are the temporary registers, basically WZ, and this is one more temporary register. This register is called as the data register also. So we are going to discuss the purpose of these registers. So basically these registers again not accessible by user, only accessible by the microprocessor internally. W and Z, it has a 8-bit capacity, and these two registers are used to hold the address. Now here you have to understand the difference between this, the WZ temporary register and this temporary data register. WZ is used to hold the temporary address during the execution of some instructions. Okay, and the temporary data register, it is used to hold the temporary data during the ALU operation. It means, if we take one example, that is the add b. If I say the add b, it means it will perform the addition of two operands. One is by default available in register A and another in register B. But before performing the add operation, whatever the data available in B register, it is a temporary transferred or hold available in a temporary data register, and then it will perform the operation. Okay, so this is the basic difference between the temporary register WZ and temporary data register. WZ hold the address and temporary data register hold the data only. Then moving forward, we are talking about the special purpose registers, which is at the bottom of the register segment, that is the stack pointer and program counter. They are the 16-bit registers. The stack pointer, which hold the address of a data present at the top of the stack memory. Basically, it is a reserved area of a memory in a RAM to store and retrieve the temporary information. It also holds the contents of program counter during the subroutine. Means, suppose any interrupt is occurs and processor gives the higher priority to give the service of it, the address of the current position is stored into the stack pointer. So when there is a subroutine call or an interrupt, that is a pushing the return address onto the jump and retrieving it after the operation is completed to come back to its original location. Program counter, it is again 16-bit and used for the execution of the program. So basically, it contains the address of the next instruction is to be executed after fetching the current instruction. So once address is fetched, program counter increase by 1. So it indicates that after completion of the current instruction, processor should fetch this instruction. So this instruction is pointed by program counter. Not much used in the programming, but as an indicator to the user only. So this is actually user purpose only, to identify the which instruction is supposed to access after completion of current instruction. Next is actually this is related to buffers or different addresses. So here I want to add the one point, that is data and address bus is multiplexed, right? Means there is a no facility that is a bus is dedicated only for the data and the address bus is dedicated for address, or both are performing the task simultaneously, that is sending the address as well as the receiving the data or sending the data. This is not possible in 8085 microprocessor, but the higher versions of processor like 286, 386 and 486 microprocessor, the address as well as the data bus are non-multiplex. They are dedicated for performing the task. But here these are the multiplex. So to separate this, we require the latch. So increment decrement address latch. It is a 16-bit register and it is used to increment or decrement the contents of PC and SP. Basically, it will increase the address of your SP as well as the program counter. This increment decrement latch is used. Then this address buffer, it is a 8-bit unidirectional buffer and it is used to drive the higher orders of buses, address bus, that is A8 to A15. When it is not used under such as a reset, hold and halt case, and that time these buffers are isolated, that is called as the tri-states. Means whenever such condition is occur, reset, hold and halt, the address buses are stated, that is isolated from the processor. They are not connected to the processor. Data oblique address buffer. It is again 8-bit bidirectional buffer. It is used to drive the lower addresses, that is the A0 to A7, as well as the 8-bit data D0 to D7. This also not work in a reset condition, hold condition, and there is a halt condition. Same time, if any one of the situation occurs, the data bus also tri-stated. Moving the next part, that is related to arithmetic and logical operation. Actually, this is the heart of the computer which will perform the arithmetic and logical operations and store the result of these arithmetic logical operations into the accumulator. Next is the accumulator. It is a general purpose register. So actually, whenever we perform any operation, the one of the operand should be available in the accumulator. Okay, and another you can choose any one of the general purpose register. But finally, after performing any kind of arithmetic logical operation, a result is stored in the accumulator. Right? Next one, that is a instruction decoder and machine encoder. This instruction decoder decodes the opcode stored in the instruction register and establishes the sequence of the event to flow. And basically, it will decode the instructions sequentially so that the program execution is done in a smooth manner. Then this machine cycle encoder, it encodes the instruction and transfer to the timing and control unit to perform the execution of the instructions. The next is the timing and control circuitry. Again, it will work as the brain of the CPU. At the start of the video in the architecture, I told that this timing and control unit, it is connected to all the blocks of the microprocessor. It means this only able to control all the blocks. It has ability to control all the blocks. For proper sequence and synchronization of all the operations of the microprocessor, this unit generates all the timing and control signal necessary for communication between the microprocessors and peripherals. For example, it will generate the signals like a reset signal. It will generate the control signals, that is a read-write signals, and etc. So it will basically use to control all the blocks of the processor. Now moving to the next part, that is a interrupt control group and the serial IO control group, that is upper two block in the architecture. Interrupt control group. First of all, we are going to understand what is meant by interrupt. Interrupt is nothing but the occurrence of external disturbance while processor executing the program. So once interrupt is occurs, first of all, processor complete the current task and then store the next address into the stack pointer. Accordingly, the PC also it will adjust or it will set the PC and give the service to the external device. So to do the or to take the services from the processor, the device first of all send the interrupt signal to the processor, and upon receiving the interrupt signal, processor will generate the acknowledgement signal called as the INTA signal. So after giving the service to the interrupt, 8085 resumes all the normal working sequence. So basically there are the five kind of interrupts: trap, RST 7.5, 6.5, 5.5 and INTR. So I want to add some points into it regarding the interrupt. So basically this interrupt has the priorities. According to the priorities, processor will serve the interrupts. Trap has the highest priority and INTR is the lowest priority. Whatever the shown here, they are according to the highest to lowest. Some trap has the masking capability, that is processor can mask, or some interrupts processor can't ignore. Like this, trap, it is a non-maskable, means once it occurs, processor want to provide the service to it, processor can't ignore it. Remaining interrupts are the maskable interrupts, means depending upon the processor they can be masked. The next last point is related to the vector location. So except INTR, all have the interrupt location, vector location. Generally, the vector location of the interrupt is calculated as a interrupt number into 8. The answer it is in decimal. If you convert into the hexadecimal, it will give the vector location of the interrupt. The last block is serial IO control group. This group is responsible to transfer the data from the processor to peripheral or to receive the data from peripheral to the processor. Actually, the processor supports serial communication internally, and externally it will receive the 8-bit parallel data. So inside this it will take the data as well as from the processor to the external up to the this serial IO block. The data is serially. To send the data, it will use the serial output data pin, and to receive the data, it has a pin called as the serial input data. This is related to the architecture of 8085. Thank you.